Hello, everyone. My name is Malika Stewart. I will be presenting alongside Jordan Shelby and Tony Weaver on the movie The Sandlot. So the year is 1962, and Scotty Smalls is the new kid on the block, and he wants to join the neighborhood baseball team. Smalls is faced with many challenges before he can make the team. He doesn't even know how to hit a ball, catch a ball, or even throw it back to his potential teammates. Although Scotty isn't the best, he gains luck and makes the team. One of the team's best players, Benny, takes Scotty, it's a lot of wise, under his wings and teaches him all he knows about baseball. When Scotty has a chance to bat, he knocks the stuffing out of the team's only baseball. They were left with two choices: get the ball from the big beast or leave it and have a boring summer. With great teamwork and collaboration, all nine of the boys on the team come together and find ways to retrieve the ball. So a few of the characters in the movie, the first one we have is Squints. He was a sarcastic guy of the team. Anyone says something remotely off, he has something to say, and he will just make the whole team laugh and pretty much pick on the other guy. He played the right field on the team. The next character, Smalls, he's the main character of the story. He gets the position as the left field, Ham, which is kind of like, I don't know, he was the funny guy to me, but he's also very sarcastic and kind of a jerk. So I guess that's kind of why I liked him the most. But he stood up for himself in the face of any bully or anyone trying to stop his personal shine or his team from granting like new levels. And he's the catcher of the team. The next one is Yeah, and he plays the shortstop. Benny, which is the best player ever. He actually made the major league and earned the name the Jet, and he plays center field. Then you have Kenny. He's the pitcher. Timmy and Tommy, they're twins. Timmy, he's kind of like the head twin. So whenever he says something, Tommy will come back and repeat it. And Tommy earned the nickname Repeat. So they kind of just called him that instead of his actual name. And Timmy is first base, and Tommy is the third base of the team. And then lastly is Bertman, and he's second base. To talk about the development from a middle childhood perspective, the first we have is self development. As adolescents enter school and begin to compare themselves to others, they become self critical, they feel inferior, and may develop lower self esteem. They may be more inhibited to try new things, and they are sensitive to feedback from peers. We noticed this in a movie when Smalls, sorry, first sees that he sees the neighborhood teams and see how bad he actually like wants to join the team, but he doesn't have the capabilities and the skills to make the team. He doesn't know how to pitch, throw, any of that good stuff that's actually needed to play the game of baseball. So it took a lot of courage. He first asked his stepdad to help him pitch. Then he tried to go out there and actually made a big fool of himself. But that's when Benny came in and helped him out. And, they kind of just got together, and Scotty actually performed really well in the end. The next we can talk about is social development. During primary school years, socialization with peers is a major issue. Scotty Smalls, he's a new member of the team. Everyone is adjusted pretty quickly, but at first they kind of just, did not make him feel part of the team, made him feel wanted. They all kind of just felt like he sucks. So why should we join him? But all in all, you see different ethnicities come together. There's a black guy, Mexican guy, white kid. So everybody's just kind of playing along, not even taking into the consideration that they're not of the same ethnicity. And by participating in the same activity and loving the game of baseball, they learn teamwork and collaboration. So they really like got together and made some great things happen. In the end, when they lost the ball over at the Beast House, they kind of made these great gimmicks to actually go over there and retrieve it. So it was actually, pretty cool to see how all that played out and just seeing them work together to make the end goal.
All right, and I'm going to continue the development with emotional and cognitive. So with emotional development at this stage, we see children are able to recognize emotions in themselves and others. They also develop more complex emotions such as guilt, pride, and shame. And we see this through Through Smalls, he felt guilty for stealing his stepdad's ball and knocking it over the fence and not being able to get it back. He also felt shame as he was not able to throw or catch like the other children, as they had been doing so, years before he has. And then they also have real fears. They fear real things, and we see this through Smalls had a fear of fitting in and being a part of a group. And then we also had the entire group were fearful of the beast across the fence, and they were scared of the dog. So then we have cognitive. So by the age of 8, children become more concrete operational thinkers. With concrete operational thinking, they are able to understand reversibility, conversation, identity, and classification, which applies to like friendships, rules of the game, team plan. And we see this with the children in Sandlot as they are able to understand the rules of baseball, and they play together as they come and have their own team. And they also learn how to just play with each other and create friendships from that. And so the next thing is they start problem solving, but they are limited. However, the problem solving abilities are somewhat limited because they don't consider other possible solutions. And we see this through them trying to just hop over the fence and the dog kind of just barking at them and growling, and see that didn't work. They had multiple opportunities to just knock on the neighbor's door and get the ball, but instead they wanted to take loops and hoops through to try to get the ball through the dog. And the last thing is language. Language becomes more skilled, and they use it in practical ways like gossiping, storytelling, and arguing. We see that a lot throughout this movie, as all they do is talk crap about each other, other people. They gossip about everything. In storytelling, when they told the story to Smalls about the beast when they were camping out. The issues portrayed. So we have peer relationships, transition to a new state, adjusting to stepfather, and problem solving. So with peer relationships, we see Smalls is transitioning from a new state. He doesn't have any friends, and he's trying to find his clique. And he really likes baseball, but he doesn't know how to throw or catch. So he's trying his best to click with them. And when Smalls was younger, his father died, and his mom recently married his stepfather, which he's trying to get adjusted to. And at this age, he's still confused. He's still, he still has a problem with calling him dad. He was calling him by his first name, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad," And then we have problem solving, as we saw them trying to get the ball, the signed baseball by Babe Ruth. They try to get it from the beast. Yeah. And then in this video, we're going to see how peer relationships are shown throughout this movie.
Get it. Don't be a goofus. Don't be a goofus.
and in that video, we saw how he was struggling to catch and throw, and they made fun of him. And it can be hard to be accepted by people that we don't know, and especially for this age group, it's very detrimental. On this slide, we're going to talk about diversity issues discussed. So there were socioeconomic issues, as the children at the Sandlot were considered maybe the poorer children. They didn't have much. We see that through them discussing how to get 98 cents for a baseball after they hit it over the fence to the beast. And then we see, which we will also see in this clip, that another group or another team, they come over and they are more uniform. They look clean, and they come over and try to like talk down upon the children at the Sandlot, and they get into a battle. So it's like upper class versus lower class a little bit. And then we also see race thrown in the video, as the biggest insult that they threw was, "You throw like a girl." And to them, that was just the most horrific thing that he could have said to him while he was playing baseball. And we see how they viewed women or girls and or women's sports, let's just say that, and how it was seen in a negative light. And they discussed how if you were seen to like throw like a girl, play like a girl, you were considered weak or lame. And we see race throughout this movie, as the best player was a Hispanic guy, and then the pitcher was a black boy, and then they were surrounded by, the upper class were all white, and then the lower class were mixed in with a little bit more racial diversity. And then we're gonna play this clip, and you guys are gonna see all that.
It's easy when you play with a bunch of rejects and fat kids, Rodriguez.
Shut your mouth, Phillips.
Would you say crap face? I said you shouldn't even be allowed to touch a baseball. Except for Rodriguez, you're all an insult to the game. Come on! We'll take you on right here, right now! Come on! Right now! We play on a real diamond, Porter. You ain't good enough to lick the dirt off our cleats. Watch it, jerk. Shut up, idiot. Moron! Scab eater. Butt sniffer. Pus licker. Fart smeller. You eat dog crap for breakfast, geek. You mix your weed with your mama toe jam. Yeah! You bob for apples in the toilet, and you like it. You play ball like a girl. What did you say? You heard me. Tomorrow, noon, at our field. Get the buffalo butt breath. Count on it, pee drinking crap face. Yeah! Let's go!
And in that video, we saw everything that I just talked about. And we even saw him say that they don't even play on the real diamond, which is a real field, and they just play on the Sandlot. So we see all those diversity issues played out.
All right, so as we kind of look at some of the things that we thought were realistic and some things that were not realistic, other things, we definitely see where the group dynamics was definitely realistic, especially for the age group that was captured in this particular video. The other thing is presenting issues was actually appropriate for the age group. There were some other things that we didn't get a chance to show here, but if you get a chance to watch the video, you'll see where a little kid likes an older girl. You'll see some other issues as well. That's appropriate. We touched a little bit on how you have a stepfather and a son, stepfather and stepson relationship. You just kind of see kind of how the stepson is trying to get the acceptance of his stepfather. And so we think that those are also some things that were very realistic within this video. So some of the things that we looked at as being unrealistic, it seems like there was a little bit of a cognitive overdevelopment of characters in the sense that even though they portray kids within the adolescent age group, you could also kind of get a sense or feel of that the script was written by adults, but it was written, so that kids can kind of act out those scenes. So you kind of get a little bit of a feel of that as you're working through the movie. The next thing that we saw that was kind of unrealistic was the racial dynamics and associated interaction. So going back to the clip that we looked at just a second ago, if this video was written for the 60s, then we can kind of see that during that time, we're actually dealing with quite a bit of racial disparity at the time. And so just looking at, again, the time frame that this video was capturing, that there may have been a little bit more racial disparity and more issues concerning race when you have a group of all whites and then you have a group of diverse cultures. There may have been a little bit more racial exchange. And so the last thing was the interaction with the team when they played. And it's just kind of going back to the previous point, is that within the 60s, there was just a little bit more racial issues that were being dealing that we were kind of dealing with during that time. So that part, I think, it was a little bit unrealistic, but again, at the end of the day, the overall story and the overall cohesion of the group was definitely a good message to send. And so we have here a keep it and change it. And so one of the things that we looked at as keeping is definitely the interracial group dynamic. This is something that I definitely have my kids watch to be able to capture just the comedy involved in the movie, as well as the group dynamics, to show that cohesion between different ethnic backgrounds. The integration of both Babe Ruth as well as Hank Aaron. When I looked at the movie, I actually went back to take a look at when exactly was Hank Aaron playing, and if this movie was, developed for the 60s, that would have been about the same time that Hank Aaron, which is also right there with Babe Ruth, was actually playing. And so there was just a small portion, and if you weren't very careful, then you would have missed it. But there's a small portion in the movie where Babe Ruth goes in and takes Hank Aaron's rookie card and says, "I don't know why, but can I keep this?" And he's actually talking about, being a hero and being able to do things that other people can't do. And, talking about how heroes are always remembered. So we definitely see that as something being very good. Again, if we're talking about racial diversity and showing we're here, we've got Babe Ruth back in the 30s that was a superstar in baseball, and then we've got Hank Aaron, who's an upcoming superstar as well, and they were able to kind of bring both of those entities into the movie. That was definitely good stuff. So change it. The same with talking when the other team was talking about who's better than who, then then perhaps there should have been at least some type of exchanges in some of the racial issues. And I only say that because it could have shown where a multicultural group has little tolerance for some of the racial issues. So if those things were kind of integrated into the movie, I think it would have made a stronger message about the interracial team. And then the time frame that the movie was made was for the 60s. If this movie was done maybe in the 70s or 80s, kind of right after we've gotten out of the civil rights movement and we've gone into this movement of more diverse cultures, things to that effect, then it probably would have had a better fit versus in the 60s. It doesn't take away from the message of the movie at all, of a team of multiracial ethnic backgrounds coming together. But again, if it was for the 70s or 80s, then I think it would have been a little bit more appropriate. And then we kind of touched on this a little bit on the previous slide of what was unrealistic, and that would be just allowing the kids to act more within their age group versus having more of a post-adolescent kind of feel to their conversations that we have. I'll just pull this down just a little bit so we can kind of see the references. We enjoyed it, and we look forward to any comments that you may have. One question that we wanted to ask, which is, do you think that it is television or movies that inspires the group dynamics of children, or is it that it's what, as far as children, the way that children interact, is that what inspires the movies? And we say that because, again, we kind of looked at where there was a little bit of an overdevelopment of the characters to kind of bring the message across within the movie. But just something to think about is it the movies that has an impact or an effect on how kids interact with each other, or is it how kids interact with each other that impacts the way that we see movies? So other than that, we enjoyed this, and we look forward to any comments. All right. Thank you.